Hey everybody, Dr. John here. Just want to take a minute to answer a couple questions. One of which is how long does it take to correct my spine? Why does it take so long to correct my spine? When will I feel better? A whole bunch of those questions kind of have the same answer. And to answer that question, I'm going to show you a little bit of a graph here to make it easier for you to understand. So you can see if you look at that bottom of the graph here, where it says starting point, this starting point in our office that we do corrective care, it might be a measurement on your x-ray, it could be the thermographic scan we've done, it could be, and it's often a combination of all these range of motion, grip strength tests, posture measurements, all those types of things. But it could be for someone else, losing weight. Their starting weight could be there, or their cholesterol reading, or their high blood, or their blood pressure reading. It doesn't really matter what it is. You need a starting point, and then you need an intervention to move that starting point in the right direction. So let's use x-rays for example. So we have an initial x-ray and we have the starting point, and we intervene by putting together an adjustment schedule for you. That adjustment schedule is designed specifically based on your testing, your x-rays, and your general health status, and a whole bunch of other things that we look at. So it might be multiple times a week, it could be once a week, it could be every other week. It just depends on where you're at. But know that each time we adjust you, you move in the right direction, and you hold this adjustment for a period of time, then you start to lose it. So each one builds on the one before it, and then we retest you to make sure you're moving in the right direction. We continue to do that over and over again until we can get you to what we call your maximum correction. We hope your maximum correction becomes the normal value, but for some people it might be down here. And how we know if someone's reached their maximum amount of correction in care would be to retest. So if you have a number test, for example, an x-ray curve, say of 30 degrees, and we do another x-ray after some intervention more, and it's 30 degrees again, likely that's where you're at. Not unlike if you're trying to lose weight, and let's say you went from 200 to 180, and you hit 180 again, you're kind of at this plateau. Well, so that's where we know we're at. The key, though, is understanding is that this intervention needs to be consistent over time. So you see this correction, the better the correction gets over a period of time, the slope generally moves in that right direction. So how do we do that? As I say, adjustments and rehab. So adjustments in the initial part of your care, and then we add some rehab in. So the more you do of this consistently will increase the slope and get it to this maximum correction faster. The less you do, so if you miss adjustments, if you don't do your rehab or do it sporadically, then the slope's going to be less aggressive towards that goal. And in some cases, if you're not doing enough, you might just maintain that. And for those people that just want to maintain their health, that's a good goal in itself. And that just requires a different type of mentality to look at what that intervention and the frequency of that needs to be. But for most people, they want to increase that over time. Now, let's say you work really hard, you get up to your maximum correction. What would happen, you think, if you stopped doing what you did to get there? Yeah, we've all done that. We've all worked out for a while and stopped, or we even had patients that have come back after a small break or a long break, and typically, unfortunately, when we re-x-ray them or retest them, they've done this. And we don't like to see that, obviously, so our goal is to get you here and then reduce the number of adjustments and rehab to as little as possible to keep you there. So we'll see you less, have you less commitment in terms of your home rehab to keep you there. That's the ideal goal. But I want to just touch on one more thing. The line is very pretty and very linear and straight here, but in reality, that's not the case. For some of you, it might be, but for most, that line would be more wavy. And wavy of ups and downs, meaning you're gonna feel good some days, maybe not so good in other days, and there's reasons for that. What's your inflammation levels at? What have you done? What have you not done? So some of the stuff that you do that sabotages yourself would be things like not moving enough, not eating a good diet, missing appointments, not doing your rehab. Okay, that's easy. We're here to motivate you to continue to do that. And as long as we see you're moving this way, even if the slope's lower than this, then I'm happy with that, and most patients are happy with that. But what are some things that would still cause this, even if you're doing everything possible in your power to make sure that this is moving in the right direction? There's other things you can't control. For example, this. Depending on where you started, so you may be at phase 1, you may be at 2, or you may be at 3. And depending on where you start, obviously that's going to dictate how fast this process happens. There's other things, though. There's things that we can't control, like the way you slept one night, the way you bent over to pick up a rock and threw your back out, your 2-hour commute, the stress your coworkers or family cause you. So there's these things that happen on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, that will make this line a little less ideal or a little less pretty, let me say. But the goal is, even though that line is wavy, over time, your correction should be moving this way. And our job is to be there, to walk beside you every step of the way to make sure you're moving in the right direction so that you can have the health that you want and the quality of life that you want.